I've been watching the Vlogbrothers since my first year of college, which is coincidentally the same amount of time that I've been regularly drinking tea, because that's when I accidentally ended up taking a tea class for college credit. So when Hank and John announced that they were releasing a line of teas to the good store to finally match their coffee subscription service, I jumped to order them like as soon as I watched the video. And then I got sick for 2 weeks, so sorry this video has taken a little bit of time. If you're just here to answer the question of whether or not these teas are good, like do I think that people should buy them, the answer is yes. These are very good teas. If you are new to drinking tea and want to get into it, this is an excellent place to start. If you know a little bit more about tea, maybe a little bit more like me, I still think they are very good teas. And if you want to stick around and hear my more detailed thoughts, you're probably someone that would benefit a lot from that. But if you're new to tea, you can stick around as well, because I'll be giving my tips and tricks how I think you should brew these teas, or just different ways you can brew teas. That's my plan. If you're all familiar with this product line, you might notice that I have 5 bags of tea here instead of 6. That is because the 6th tea was a peppermint green tea, which happens to be my least favorite type of tea, and I was never going to be able to give that a good review, so I saved everyone the bother. We have the 5 teas that remain, and I'm going to drink them and give you my thoughts. Since it's the morning, I thought we could start with the Blue Fields Earl Grey. Recollections of dried flowers finished with a hint of bitterness from the black tea. Pair with a cucumber sandwich or On the Grasshopper and Cricket by John Keats. Ingredients are black tea, blue corn flour, and natural flavor, which is probably bergamot oil. One thing that I like about this tea in particular is just the scent of the leaves just before you've even brewed it. It's so good. It's so well balanced. Spoiler alert, this is my favorite Earl Grey that I've ever had. To brew this tea, I'm just gonna brew it in my mug with my strainer. This strainer does come with this mug, and there's a little, where is it? There's a little top that completes the set. The tea recommends 1.5 teaspoons. I bought this from David's Tea a while ago, and it's supposed to be like the perfect teaspoon, so that's just what I'm gonna use. That's about a single serving. I'm gonna brew and enjoy this tea on this fine morning, and then I'll give you my thoughts.
On the Grasshopper and Cricket. The poetry of earth is never dead. When all the birds are faint with the hot sun and hide in cooling trees, a voice will run from hedge to hedge about the new-mown mead. That is the grasshopper's. He takes the lead in summer luxury. He has never done with his delights. For when tired out with fun, he rests at ease beneath some pleasant weed. The poetry of earth is ceasing never. On a lone winter evening, when the frost has wrought a silence, from the stove there shrills the cricket's song, in warmth increasing ever, and seems to one in drowsiness half lost, the grasshoppers among some grassy hills.
As I said earlier, this is my favorite Earl Grey that I've ever had. It's just so well balanced. Usually I find the tea a bit too strong or the bergamot oil too overpowering, and I don't know if it's the corn flour that's in here or what, but it's just such a good cup. Honestly, it's so well balanced that I don't even really need the milk and honey. Like, I love making a good little tea latte. A London fog with vanilla syrup and milk would be great too. But when I taste tested this the first time, I actually drank it completely plain, just brewed on its own, and it was so good. So this tea is definitely like a 5 out of 5 for me, and I highly recommend it. So as the sun sets on this summer day, I thought it might be nice to have a non-caffeinated tea. Now, Keats and Co has 2 non-caffeinated teas, both of which are herbal blends, which means that technically they're a tisane because they don't have any of the Camellia sinensis plant in them. Because yeah, I don't know if you know this, but all tea, all caffeinated tea comes from the Camellia sinensis plant, which looks like this. If you want to know more about this sapling, check out my how to make your own homemade tea video. So yeah, herbal teas aren't real teas, just like American cheese isn't real cheese, but that doesn't mean we don't get to enjoy them. So tonight I'll be drinking the Golden Fire ginger tea. You might notice that compared to the Earl Grey, this tea is a lot more empty. That is because I have been sick for a little over a week, and this tea has been the one thing that's been keeping me going. I just keep rebrewing it and rebrewing it. I actually realized I was running low, so I had to stop so that I could film this video, and I went and I bought like grocery store ginger tea. So now that I've been drinking that, I'm really interested to see how this like compares, because when I last tried it, I hadn't had the grocery store bagged stuff yet. So I'm really excited to try it again, but I'll read the description for you first, okay. Sweet lemon perfume hides a spicy kick of ginger with a complex finish. Pair with a summer bonfire or This Living Hand Now Warm and Capable by John Keats. Ingredients: ginger, lemon myrtle, lemongrass, chamomile, rose hips, lemon peel, and cayenne.
This living hand, now warm and capable of earnest grasping, would, if it were cold and in the icy silence of the tomb, so haunt thy days and chill thy dreaming nights that thou would wish thine own heart dry of blood, so in my veins red life might stream again, and thou be conscience calm. See, here it is, I hold it towards you.
Wow, it has gotten darker. Hold on one second. Is that better? Yeah, that looks better. Okay, ginger tea. I'm really glad that I gave this another try. It's so good. It's almost more round and floral. Oh, I know you're gonna have to accept that that spot's there. It's a lot like, floral's wrong, maybe herbaceous than the sort of like straightforward punch you in the face ginger tea that you get from grocery stores, like for when you're sick sort of thing. So I'm really happy with this. I could definitely use some honey. Oh wait, I have that, hold on. Oh my God, it's perfect. You'll notice that the pot still has the tisane in it. That's because it's really hard to brew herbal teas actually, as compared to black teas, green teas, white teas, oolongs, pu'ers, yellow teas, that whole thing. Those can all over brew, they can like over extract, you start getting bitter tannic flavors from it. Tisanes, as far as I know, can't do wrong with it. That is why I love putting a tisane in a pot and just having it ready to pour whenever I need it. And then I have my little strainer that you saw I just put in the cup, pull it out. Done. So yes, this tea is delicious. It's great for a relaxing, calming night, and it was excellent for when I got sick. I would have drank the entire thing if I didn't know I wanted to film this video, so it's a great tea. 5 out of 5 again, and I'm going to drink this entire pot, so I will see you tomorrow for another caffeinated tea. Good morning. We have kind of a stressful day happening today, so I thought that we could have a bit of a more mellow caffeinated tea. So today we're going to be drinking the April Meadows Green tea. Today I'd like to make a full pot, and because this is a very nice plain green tea, the only ingredients are green tea leaves in here, this tea would be great for rebrewing. A lot of teas, most teas you can rebrew. Flavored teas like the Earl Grey, sometimes I just avoid unless I, really want another cup of black tea, but you won't get the flavoring as much in subsequent cups. Anyway, so for that purpose, for the ability to rebrew the green tea, I am going to use our Breville. We call this our tea robot because we put the tea leaves in this basket. We put the basket here, and then it uses magnets to lower the basket once the water gets to temp, brews it in the water for the correct amount of time, and then raises it out again so you don't have to set a timer and strain it yourself and all that sort of stuff. But before we do that, let me read you the description of the tea. Green tea with an aroma of sweet meadow grass, warmed by the sun. Pair with lemon sorbet or Ode on a Grecian Urn by John Keats. It's just a very nice, herbaceous scent. I'm really excited for this tea. Something that's really interesting is it actually recommends brewing at 205, which isn't anywhere standard for a green tea. When I taste tested it the first time, I actually brewed it at 170 or 175, which is more normal for a green tea. I wouldn't say it was like too light, but I'm very interested in actually brewing it at the recommended temperature, because if you're a first-time tea brewer, that's what you're gonna have access to. You're not gonna have a kettle like I do that automatically brews your tea, or even just a kettle that has the various temperatures pre-programmed and can like stop before it reaches boiling and stuff. I'm very excited to try this morning, so let's do it.
Selections from Ode on a Grecian Urn. Heard melodies are sweet, but those unheard are sweeter. Therefore, ye soft pipes, play on, not to the sensual ear, but, more endeared, pipe to the spirit ditties of no tone. Fair youth, beneath the trees, thou canst not leave thy song, nor ever can those trees be bare. Bold lover, never, never canst thou kiss, though winning near the goal yet. Do not grieve, she cannot fade, though thou hast not thy bliss, forever wilt thou love, and she be fair. O Attic shape, O fair attitude, with breed of marble men and maidens overwrought, with forest branches and the trodden weed, thou, silent form, dost tease us out of thought as doth eternity. Cold pastoral, when old age shall this generation waste, thou shalt remain, in midst of other woe than ours, a friend to man, to whom thou sayest, beauty is truth, truth beauty. That is all ye know on earth, and all ye need to know.
Okay, so what are my thoughts about this green tea? It's really good. It's very, straightforward. It's definitely one of those green teas that would stand up to, milk and honey or, boba, if you ever make boba at home. It's very much reminiscent of the, strong green tea that you would be served at, a Chinese restaurant. I'm still not sure if I like it being brewed at 205. It's a little strong, but it's incredibly not bitter. It's very drinkable for me. I guess I haven't really talked about this. I'm very sensitive to bitterness. It's a curse on my palate, basically. So yeah, I was worried about brewing it at 205, but actually, I can totally drink this. It's just not really my favorite kind of green tea. It's very just one or two note, very straightforward, which is probably why it's hard to overbrew and why it can be brewed at 205, but it also just isn't what I really expect from a green tea. But that being said, it's a very good green tea, and like I said, it's great for beginners because it seems like it might be hard to mess up. The one thing I will say as someone who drinks a lot of tea, including a lot of green tea, is that it's called April Meadows and it says that it has grassy notes, but compared to other green teas, so compared to all teas, green tea is going to be the grassiest kind of by default. So I understand where they're going for there. If you compare this and the Earl Grey, it definitely seems grassier. But you compare this to matcha's gonna be grassier by a mile. This is actually, I would say, more of a minerally green tea, which is delicious. I love a good minerally green tea. But if you don't drink a lot of tea, you're not gonna, care about those nuances. So who am I to judge their marketing team? 5 out of 5, my husband's favorite tea. So just because it's not my favorite tea doesn't mean it's not, someone else's favorite tea of the 5 teas, to be clear. And I'm gonna keep working on my Lego. Or maybe I'm gonna go edit this. I'm probably gonna go edit this, honestly. See you later. Good evening, it's time for another non-caffeinated herbal blend tea, and the only one remaining is the Evensong Chai. This tea uses rooibos as its base, so instead of having a black tea or another Camellia sinensis, it uses rooibos leaves. So it kind of looks like tea, but it's not quite tea. It's a tisane again. Rooibos has a really great base flavor, and with chai spices on top of that, it's really good. Honey sweet rooibos balanced by dark clove and floral cardamom. Pair with a warm blanket or En Peace by John Keats. Ingredients: rooibos, ginger, lemongrass, cinnamon, clove, cardamom, pink and black peppercorn, cayenne, and natural flavor. This tea smells so good and so spicy. It's just everything that you want for a nice chai at home. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay. Oh, I'm going to brew this in a slightly different way from before. I have these little, essentially make your own tea bags. So you take one of these little pouches, you fill it with tea, you use the strings to cinch it up, and treat it like a normal tea bag. So that's what I'm gonna do.
On peace. Oh, peace, And dost thou with thy presence bless the dwellings of this war-surrounded isle, soothing with placid brow our late distress, making the triple kingdom brightly smile? Joyful, I hail thy presence, and I hail the sweet companions that await on thee. Complete my joy. Let not my first wish fail. Let the sweet mountain nymph thy favorite be, with England's happiness proclaim Europa's liberty. O Europe, let not sceptred tyrants see that thou must shelter in thy former state. Keep thy chains burst, and boldly say thou art free. Give thy king's law leave not uncurbed the great, so with the horrors past thou'lt win thy happier fate.
The tea is so cozy, I almost forgot that I had to record my thoughts. It's a very sweet tea, like even without the honey that I put in there, like it just has a very sweet, spicy vibe about it. It's a really good tea. It's probably, I would say it's my favorite spiced tea that I have right now, and it's definitely my favorite of the 5 teas from the good store, so that's high praise. It's definitely a tea that I can steep over and over, at least for a little bit, especially if I actually take it out of the mug and don't just drink it with the bag still in there. I'm so sorry, I just don't know what to say. It's just a really tasty, delicious tea, and I love drinking it, and I highly recommend it as a non-caffeinated option. Before I go to bed, there's one more thing I wanted to do tonight. I don't know if you've noticed, I've been trying really hard to brew every tea a different way. And at this point, pretty much the only new way is to not hot brew the tea, but to cold brew the tea. Basically, I'm just gonna be putting the next tea, which is the Bright Star Breakfast Blend, into this special tea brewing pitcher. That thing in the middle is a strainer. I'll be putting the tea leaves in there, then putting in cold water, putting it in the fridge overnight, and then tomorrow the tea will have fully brewed and I can take the strainer out and then just enjoy the tea and it won't overbrew. Why is this a good tea to do this for? Because it's a breakfast blend, and sometimes first thing in the morning you don't actually want to have to brew your tea, and it would be a lot better to just pull fully brewed tea out of the fridge already. I'm gonna be honest, the first time that I tried this, I did just do it with normal hot water and it turned out really, really good. So this is kind of an experiment, but I can also honestly say that this is a good tea. The Bright Star Breakfast Blend, a perfectly straightforward cup of black tea with a distant floral sparkle. Pair with shortbread or Bright Star, Would I Were Steadfast as Thou Art by John Keats. Ingredients, black teas. I am going to be using a little more tea than I normally would because when something is cold, it kind of like deadens your palate to it. So in order to really taste the tea, we should use maybe twice as much as I normally would. So let's do that.
Bright star, would I were steadfast as thou art, not in lone splendor, hung aloft the night and watching, with eternal lids apart, like nature's patient, sleepless eremite, the moving waters at their priest-like task of pure ablution round earth's human shores, or gazing on the new soft fallen mask of snow upon the mountains and the moors. No, yet still steadfast, still unchangeable, pillowed upon my fair love's ripening breast, to feel forever its soft fall and swell, awake forever in a sweet unrest. Still, to hear her tender taken breath, and so live ever, or else swoon to death.
I am so excited with this little cold brew experiment. I had no idea what it was going to taste like cold brewed, and it's so light. There's a little bit of tannicness in there, but that's pretty normal for a breakfast blend. That's just what the black tea leaves kind of have in them to give up. It's totally drinkable. I don't know if I would call it floral. It's not really herbaceous. It's a little minerally. Yes, I'm trying to remember my tea tasting chart notes. It's very complex and deep. Like, it almost reminds me of like mead, like honey wine. It's really, really good. It's also good brewed normally, but this is definitely my preferred brewing method for this. This is delicious and lovely. Wow. I'm very pleasantly surprised. Let's discuss the last thing worth talking about with Keats and Co, the price. One of these bags contains 2 ounces of tea and costs $22. Now, if you get a subscription or you bundle the tea with other types of tea, the price goes down a little bit, but let's go with the base cost, $22. I checked my local tea shop to see what their prices were for 2 ounces of tea, and while some of them did match or exceed $22, those were mostly the specialty teas, the ones that are very high quality or are hard to source. The teas that I would compare to these were significantly less than $22. But there's another factor to Keats and Co tea, which is the good in the good store. John Keats, the poet that Keats and Co is named for and whose poetry we have been enjoying this whole video, died of tuberculosis at just 24 years old. And even still, 1.5 million people die of tuberculosis every year. Nowadays, we actually have tests and treatments for tuberculosis that just can't reach the people that need them because of transportations and other costs. And the Good Store wants to fight that, so 100% of the proceeds of Keats and Co tea goes towards testing and treatment for tuberculosis. So it's really difficult for me to even know, is that price worth it? Because again, we're not just talking about the tea, we're also talking about helping save lives. Ultimately, I think the choice about whether or not to get a subscription to Keats and Co tea is up to each individual, but I can say definitively, it is really good tea. Like, I'm drinking it now. I didn't have to choose the Evensong Chai as my drink of choice for filming this part, but I genuinely love it and I wanted to drink it, especially after editing my review of it like an hour ago. So I still have a subscription to get this every 8 weeks. So that's my review of Keats and Co tea from the Good Store and the Vlogbrothers Hank and John Green. I really hope you enjoyed it. I will have a link to the tea section of the Good Store below. I will link all of the various glass and teaware that I showed off because honestly, why gatekeep if I don't have to? While you're down there checking out those links, maybe give this video a like, maybe leave a comment talking about which tea you'd be the most excited to try. And if you want to stick around, I have some other really cool videos for you. I recently tried out candle making for the first time and ended up reviewing 2 separate kits, one from a big box store and one from an indie store. So if you like this review, you will love that review. If you specifically like tea videos, I have a whole playlist for you all about that. Some reviews, some thoughts, the how I grew my own tea video. And ultimately, I'm just really grateful that you watched this whole video. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you real soon. Cheers. Ooh, that's hot.